All right. Back again. Okay, we're batting 1,000 here. 2 weeks in a row that I've got a show in. My business travels will be lightening up, and we'll be able to get more fun stuff. So last week, I got that off my chest. The final Jim Henson fiasco. My first set of dreams crushed by my own mistakes, right? So anyways, we learned from that. As I told you, I had moved to Sacramento, and that's when I got the letter about the Jim Henson thing. And I had moved there because my buddy that I went to college with was an accountant, and he gave me a data entry job where I basically packed up and moved to Sacramento, lived downtown in a little apartment with him, and I would go to his office in a shirt and tie. So I'm trying to picture my John Oates hairdo from Hall & Oates in a shirt and tie. And that was it. That was what Larry looked like. So picture John Oates from Hall & Oates with I don't know, some mid-'80s do, kind of a fro mullet. So picture that with a shirt and tie. That's just unbelievable. Why would anyone? I'm apologizing, even though you haven't seen it. I'm sorry that even happened. So anyways, I was doing data entry, and it was just a temporary job. I was only going to do it till the end of May, until tax season was over. So the job was that. I went there every morning and didn't really have a chance to do anything other than work, and then that was it. Like normal people, you just work, you go home, and you make dinner and watch some TV, and you go to bed. So then that job was up, and my buddy and I moved a little bit more in the suburbia area of Sacramento. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? I mean, I'm right out of college. I do this one data entry job. I had promised myself I wouldn't work fast food or anything like that, though there's nothing wrong with that. I just kind of said, let me just set some kind of a bar for myself. Well, I didn't really go that much higher. I ended up getting a job in something I was thinking like, well, what do I like? I like toys. Can I get paid to play with toys? No. Can I get paid to play around toys? Yes. So I went to the local Toys R Us, and I applied, and I got a job at Toys R Us. So I'm working at Toys R Us. That's nothing exciting, no fun showbiz stories. Except for we used to listen to the radio. They used to actually play live radio throughout the store before they started playing pre-recorded music. Actually, a few months later, because the radio was getting obnoxious with so many commercials, Toys R Us put together a series of cassette tapes that they shipped out to all the stores to play WTRU. And they would play music over and over, the same tape they'd play all the time. But before that, we were listening to local pop radio. So one day I'm working, and I hear a commercial that starts out, actors, models, comedians, we need you. I don't remember what else it was. It was like, crazy nitro burning funny cars, be there Sunday, that kind of a thing, right? But it was for this modeling school that was, I don't want to say it's famous. It's a famous modeling school, but it's not famous because it's a good modeling school. They're famous because they rip people off. So I'm not going to say their names. I'm a nice guy, and since I'm not out to hurt anybody, I'm not going to mention them. But anyways, they were saying, come on down and audition to be in this movie that they're being a part of. So I'm like, well, it's Sacramento. Maybe there is a connection with Hollywood somewhere. And so I'll go down to this modeling agency and take a shot and audition. So I go down there. There's like 200 people. All these people, different shapes and sizes, all lined up in this strip mall kind of a place where this modeling agency is. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm here. I get in line. And like 10 people in front of me, there's two guys I basically went through high school with. They weren't good friends of mine, but, we knew each other. But here's the kicker. These two guys ended up getting like degrees in computer science, and they're like big-time programmers now. But I'm like, why are these guys here? I mean, I have a degree in theater. Why is it that they're here when they got degrees in computer science? So I go, hey, what's going on? They go, hey, Larry, what's up with you? I go, I'm just here to audition. They go, so are we. And I'm like, why are you guys here? They're, why are you here? well, I'm an actor. I have a degree in theater. What are you here for? Well, we just heard it on the radio, so we just thought we'd show up. So I'm sitting there in my little cocky, arrogant self thinking, well, good chance you guys are going to really get in there, I think. You really got a good chance because, after all, you got a degree in computer science. Ha! So I was like, okay, well, anyways. So this place, just like I said, had a row of people. And I don't know what they never explained what this movie was that they were doing. They just had people come in groups. They'd have everybody come in. They'd pull 4 people out, and then they'd take you into this back room. And they'd give you what are called sides, and these are the script, basically. But a side is just like a sheet that has just a few lines, what you're going to do. It's not like a whole... It might not even be a whole scene. It could just be, just a paragraph or something. So they give us a little scene, and they hand me a script, and all I'm reading is a line for like a bellhop or a desk clerk or something at a hotel. So they had me go in this room, and they had me stand really far away from the camera, and I just stand there, and I say the 2 lines, and they have me do it like 2 different times, and then that's it. And they did that with like a bunch of people. I asked my buddies that I'd gone to school with, what did they have you do? They said, they had to just read this line. And I'm like, wow, that was it? So, kind of felt like my day was shot. I'm like, all right, this is a big waste of time. If this is a taste of Hollywood, that really stinks. It's really kind of lame. So I go home, really didn't think twice about it because it just seemed like a ripoff. And then about a week later, I get a phone call. Now, we didn't have cell phones, obviously, so when I came home from work at the end of the day, I'm checking my answering machine, and there's this sound, this like really professional woman's voice saying, hi, we're with the such and such agency, and you came and read for us a couple weeks ago. We'd really like to, we really like what you did, and we'd really like to give you an opportunity to use your talents. So I was like, it's kind of weird. I mean, I can't really believe they'd want me to be in their movie. So I said, all right, well, what do you want me to do? I don't get it, really. So she goes on to tell me that they are a modeling school, and they're opening up an acting division. And the people that weren't good enough to get in their movie, they want to give an opportunity for them to take a very prestigious acting class that will be taught by a working actor in Hollywood. So I was thinking, all right, well, it couldn't hurt. I mean, I've only been out of school for about a year, barely. And I felt like my acting chops were still really solid, and I didn't think I needed to have some Hollywood actor teach me how to act because I thought I was all ready to go. But I'm here. I'm in Sacramento. Maybe there's a networking opportunity to get an agent or something. And then I'd move to L.A. So that's what I figured I'd do. I said, all right, so what do I got to do? So she tells me to come on down. And I go down there and meet with them. And they tell me this class is going to offer me some very good opportunities. First, I'm going to take their 2-year acting program, and then they're going to provide headshots and a modeling portfolio, and I get to be taught by a actor who is currently working on a big soap opera. Wow. Now that sounds like a lot of fun. 2 years, I'll do 2 years if I have to, build up my skill and then move to Hollywood. By the time that's all over with, I should be really old, like 25. So there had to be a catch, right? Everybody know what the catch is, probably. Yes, money. How much do you think this thing costs? So, this was over 20 years ago, and I think the class was $1,000. That's a ton of money, especially once after I moved to L.A. and I took acting classes for $150, $200. in Hollywood by professional actors working in the business. And here, this class was $1,000. But once again, bad mistake. But I took this, what probably appeared to be a negative thing because of the cost, into a positive thing. So I signed up for it. Now, this class was really a joke. Now, the actor teaching it, I really, really liked him. And he has since passed away. And I just realized his name was Richard Biggs. You can IMDb him. I think the last thing he was on before he passed away was Babylon 5. But he was on Days of Our Lives for a few years in the late 80s. And then I never really saw him again. But they would fly him up from Hollywood every 2 weeks. And he would teach every other Saturday. He would teach this class. It was like 3 hours long, 2 hours long. But the cool thing is, he actually has a master's in drama from USC. So he actually was a really good actor. And it wasn't a joke as far as what he was doing. So he would come in, and we learned basic TV acting, like blocking, which I actually thought was pretty interesting because in college you don't learn that stuff so much. You're doing theater. So it's all on the stage. And this was actually hitting a mark, saying your lines, and it was kind of cool. I go, well, you know what? This isn't so bad. It's still kind of expensive, but I'll do fine. And then he said, okay, we're going to work on monologue. So he gives us this monologue. We each get monologues. Now, here's where the mistake came in. He said, pick anything you want, but I challenge you guys to pick something that's really going to show your skills. So he gave us different choices to choose from. So I picked this one from a play called The Rainmaker. It's a very famous play. But the problem is, I didn't really fit the character at all, who the guy was. So it was really kind of rough. I memorized this monologue, and so for the whole year, that's all I did was this monologue, over and over and over and over and over. And he had us do it all these different ways, a lot like what you would learn in your theater classes, because he came from theater. And it was funny because he'd teach this class, and I said, you know what, I got to see this guy on TV. I got to go see what he's all about. So I started recording Days of Our Lives while I was at work, and I'd come home and I'd watch it, and he would be on there. I'm like, he's really on this show. So I kept watching it and watching it, and I was kind of going a little starstruck. Hey, that guy's teaching my acting class. Wow, that's kind of cool. Real nice guy, like I said. So the class goes on and on. Nothing exciting happened at the class, but one thing he did say, at the end of this class, my agents are going to come down. And you're going to get an opportunity to read for them. And I was like, all right, this could be worth my $1,000 right here. This is what it's all going to be about. So, the time comes after doing scenes after scenes and all of this acting with all of these lame people for over a year, the opportunity comes to meet his two agents. Now, he gave us a little hint. I had asked him, actually before class, I came up to him and I said, if your agents actually like us, are they going to say they want to sign us or what would they do? Because I knew nothing. And he said, well, I'll tell you this. If they ask you, when are you going to be moving to L.A., that's a good sign. And I was like, okay, all right. Now we're on to something. So the time comes to read for the agent. Now, this Rainmaker, like I said, is a real famous play, and it's about this man who claims to be a rainmaker back in the 1800s, where men used to go around claiming they could make it rain by waving a stick, and people would pay him money to predict the weather and all this stuff. I really don't even remember what that play was about, so you real thespians out there that know all these plays, you're going to go, what an idiot. That's not what the play's about. But anyways, in this monologue, I'm a con man who is saying how I can make it rain. And somebody asks me in the play, in the scene, how are you going to make it rain? Then the monologue starts out, you want to know how I'm going to do it? This is how I'm going to do it. So anyways, so he goes around, and it's this big dramatic thing, and we have to read for this agent in this little teeny office. So his agent's there. She's really nice, and I come in, and I don't know. I'm not even dressed for the part. I'm just dressed in my normal clothes and in my big John Oates mullet. And she says, okay, what are you going to read for me today? And I told her, from the Rainmaker. Did I say Rain Man? Have I been saying Rain Man all this time? So I said I'm going to read from the Rainmaker. And I do the monologue, but it's kind of a big, loud, yelling kind of a thing, waving a rain stick around. I didn't even have a rain stick. I'm just motioning. So I get to do the monologue, and I jump up out of my chair, and she kind of jumps back while I'm doing the monologue. And she's like, ugh. I could tell that I'm making her feel uncomfortable because we're in this tiny space. So when I was all done, think about if you guys watch The Office when Michael is in his improv class, and he does his thing, and at the end he goes, scene, like that. So it was like, so I'm like doing this thing, and everybody's, she's just kind of staring at me, and I'm like, scene, I'm done. And then she goes, all right, well, that was very nice. So here's what she said. When do you think you'll be moving to L.A.? So right away I just said, in a couple months I'm moving. She goes, oh, okay, good. And then I said, so maybe I'll see you then. She says, all right, have a good day. And that was it. I got to go ahead to move to L.A. because the agent said so. So we're getting ready to close out on the show here. Now we got about 5 minutes left, and I want to tell you this side story of the graduation process of this class. Next podcast, I'm moving to L.A., and that's how we're going to continue that. But so at the graduation of this thing, remember it's a modeling school. They have the ceremony. Now, this acting class, I wasn't in the only acting class. He taught like 4 of them, and there were like 30 people in each class. So there's like 120 people. Plus, there was modeling classes going on at the same time. So this graduation is for the people that went through modeling school and the people that went through the acting school. So they set up this big thing in a Radisson somewhere, the Beverly Garland Hotel. It was the Beverly Garland Hotel, that's right, in Sacramento. This real ritzy place. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? It's like I'm getting a diploma? No, actually what they're going to do is they gave all the actors a scene from Days of Our Lives. And you had to perform it in front of a couple hundred people that were having dinner, like in this big dinner setup. It wasn't like a theater, but it was like, picture a runway, right? Like a Project Runway, and the models coming down the runway, and there's people all around them. It's like that, but they're eating dinner. Okay, so this is how it goes. They have all the people that are in the acting class show up, and I'm just wearing something nice. They didn't really tell me what to wear, and we're all backstage. And they said, okay, everybody is doing the same scene, and there's 3 of you in the scene, and everybody's doing the same scene. So they're literally, the people in the audience are going to watch this scene like 20 times. And they did it so that every time a few models would come out and they would do the runway thing, they would have kind of an intermission by having the actors come out and read. So I'm coming out. It's they had mics, colored mics assigned to each of the actors. Okay, you're reading this part, so it's the red mic, blue mic, and a green mic. It's my turn to come out and do the scene. In this scene, I'm playing like the security guard of this girl that's being held captive, hostage, and I'm like the security guard to keep her from getting out of the room. So in this scene, remember, it's soap opera, right? There's 2 people at the front of the stage having the dialogue, and I'm behind them, and I have to yell at them. So what's funny is my mic goes out, and it's a cordless Mr. Microphone mic, and nobody can hear me. So I start screaming my lines. As I scream my lines, the mic kicks back in, and now it's just like I'm blowing out these big speakers in a big, huge hotel hall, kind of a thing. And it's just a big fiasco, and everybody kind of laughs. And then we walk off, and I go, it cannot get any worse than this. This is horrible. Well, there's all this commotion backstage, because now it's the final runway of the day. And I'm trying to get out of the way, and this woman grabs me. She goes, come here, come here, come here, come here. And she grabs me and pairs me up with this, 12-year-old girl. And she goes, hold her hand. And I go, why? She goes, well, you guys have to go out and do your last run. And I go, but I'm not and then she's like, just go. And they push me out, and now I'm on a runway in a regular nice outfit. I mean, I'm not wearing any fancy clothes. I mean, I'm wearing nice clothes, but it's not like clothes that a model would wear, that all these other models have been wearing. And now I have to walk down a runway with this 12-year-old girl locked in my arms, and we're walking around with all these other models coupled off while people are clapping and applauding. I don't know how to walk like a model. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. It was crazy. It was the most... it was like, have you ever heard of the actor's nightmare? Everybody has these, whether you're an actor or not, where the actor's nightmare comes in various forms. One is you have a dream that you're thrown out on stage and you don't have any of your lines memorized. It's like it's time to perform in a play that you've never even seen or rehearsed. It's like a nightmare for an actor, like just forget all its lines. Or you're thrown out on the stage and you're in your underwear. You know, just any kind of a kooky nightmare like that's a result of stress from having to perform. So this was a living actor's nightmare or a model's nightmare. I'm thrown out on this big runway. It was horrifying, and I am so glad nobody I knew saw me. At least I don't think so. So, anyways, that's it. That is my first acting class. Now, once again, not my first acting class, but after college, this was what I thought was my first Show Biz acting class. Let me tell you something. Here's what's not to do. Anything that's advertising on the radio to come take an acting class, and it's promising something like you're going to be in a movie, just know that is not true, okay? It's just not going to happen. Now, maybe every once in a while in Hollywood, they'll have a big, huge casting call, which they'll make a big announcement and put it in the trades, and everybody and their brother will show up. And that's totally legitimate, because sometimes in a movie, they're really looking for a new face, a new natural actor that's not somebody anybody knows. And they'll see thousands of people to find this one kid or something like that. But that's far and few between that they do that. But what's funny is I fell for it in Sacramento, that I actually thought that they were going to have an actual movie made from this. So anyways, that's it. Now we're moving to L.A. Next show. I'm hopping in my VW bug and heading up the Grapevine, people. And that's when we're going to start a whole new series of stories from a journal that I have. I actually started a journal when I moved to Hollywood, where I was going to write down every showbiz event that happened to me. All right? So I hope this was fun for you. Talk to you later. Bye.